Hello, good to have you with us on Red Barn Radio. I'm Bradford Becker. Tonight we continue in our 21st season of Red Barn Radio, and we welcome you to show number 811. Woo! Yeah, 811. 911 is only 100 shows away. Our guest this evening is folk duo Rockwood Taylor. Lynne and Charlie are 40-year veterans of the New England music scene and now live on the North Shore of Massachusetts in lovely Newburyport. Their release, Finding Home, was nominated Album of the Year in the 2019 New England Music Awards. We're so glad to have them with us. Welcome, Rockwood Taylor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is where I started from the album you just mentioned. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sitting in the sun in my brother's yard, wondering how I got this far. What do you do when life gets hard? Just grab another Band-Aid and cover the scars. Calluses grow and life moves on, and every dark night brings a brighter dawn. I'm still a stranger to this road I'm on. I'm still a stranger to this road I'm on. Well, you fly across the country in a big jet plane. From way up here, things sure don't look the same. This journey must be more than a means to an end, but I'm not sure I'd choose to go this way again. Connections missed and signs not read, distracted by the static buzzing in my head. Next time I'll try the direct flight instead. 'Cause I've been traveling for so long, my heart is weary and my bones are tired. I've been traveling near and far, just trying to get back to where I started from. Well, I'm done with anger and I'm done with blame. I'm done with running and I'm done with shame. The older I get, the more I know, the more things change, the more they really don't. We do what we do 'cause we have to do it, and that's really all that there is to it. You can take it or leave it or just say screw it, and that's all I know so far. But we've been traveling for so long, our hearts get weary and our bones get tired. We've been traveling near and far, just trying to get back to where we started from. Back to where we started from. So take what you need and leave the rest, and keep on trying to do your best. And every every morning when you get dressed, just remind yourself that you are blessed. We're blessed by the sky and blessed by the ground. We're blessed when we're lost, we're blessed when we're found. Blessed by the beauty that is all around, and that's what I know for sure. But we've been traveling for so long, our hearts get weary and our bones get tired. We've been traveling near and far, just trying to get back. Yeah, we're trying to get back. Oh, we're trying to get back to where we started from, back to where we started from, back to where we started from. Hey, hey, back to where we started from. Yeah, yeah, back to where we started from.
Good evening and welcome to Red Barn Radio. Wherever in the world you're listening, welcome to Roots Music Southern Style. Thanks to WEKU, Red Barn Radio's official radio partner, NPR for Central and Eastern Kentucky. Listen online at weku.org. Red Barn Radio is supported by Visit Lex, Lexington, Kentucky's Convention and Visitors Bureau. More information on what Lexington has to offer is at visitlex.com. LexArts, Lexington, Kentucky's premier cultural development, advocacy, and fundraising organization, working for the development of a strong and vibrant arts community as a means of enhancing the quality of life in Central Kentucky. Follow Red Barn Radio on Twitter and like us on Facebook. Here's the host of Red Barn Radio to tell us more about tonight's performers.
Lynne plays piano and bass and sings. Charlie sings and plays drums and guitar, though
Good
just
evening.
guitar this evening. The writing they do together as Rockwood Taylor pushes conventions and boundaries in the realm of social and personal awareness. Lynne Taylor has been an important musical voice in New England since she started her work in 1985. Diane Crow from community radio WMCB says, Lynne Taylor is like a voice in the wilderness, howling for truth and justice. The duo tours regularly through the eastern half of the country, and this is their first visit with us here on Red Barn Radio. We're really glad to have Rockwood Taylor with us tonight here in Lexington, Kentucky.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you very much. And yes, this is our first time to Lexington. And I am from a small town in northeast Ohio that has a bit of infamy, Kent, Ohio. And my friend here in the audience, we went to high school together, and we used to go down to the river. And this is a song about the river. I would commune with the river. And it's a song about leaving home. It's called Backwoods. 1, 2, 3, 4. My mom used to say that there was something to be said about a town that would slow down for a train. But the day they completed the bridge over the tracks, I knew those days would not be back again. Some things to be lost, some things to be gained. When you pack it up and leave it all behind, it seems the Cuyahoga River is all that stays the same, rolling through the backwoods of my mind. The river was my dearest friend. She knew my secrets and my pain. She knew the darkest despair of my soul, and she'd soothe me again and again. She knew she'd have to let me go. In fact, she told me that I should. She said, folks like you and me, we're just passing through this town. Yes, for us the quiet waters are no good. And my mom used to say that there was something to be said about a town that would slow down for a train. But the day they completed the bridge over the tracks, I knew those days would not be back again. And some things to be lost, some things to be gained, when you pack it up and leave it all behind. It seems the Cuyahoga River is all that stays the same, rolling through the backwoods of my mind. Some waters flow to ponds, and some waters flow to lakes, and some waters they get all backed up by the artificial dams that we make. Yes, but some waters can't be held. That's what she whispers to me. Some waters got to keep moving on, oh, endlessly seeping the sea. And my mom used to say that there was something to be said about a town that would slow down for a train. But the day they completed the bridge over the tracks, I knew those days would not be back again. And there's something to be lost, something to be gained, when you pack it up and leave it all behind. It seems the Cuyahoga River is all that stays the same, rolling through the backwoods of my mind, rolling through the backwoods of my mind, rolling through the backwoods of my mind, rolling through the backwoods of my mind. Thank you.
Oh, this next song is also off that same little EP, record, as it were. Everybody's Gotta Have a Train song. This one's mine. It's called Steel Wheels.
Started off on Lonely Street, ended up on the Heartbreak Express. Got no real destination, I'm just a terrible mess. And those steel wheels keep rolling, carry me places unknown. Miles of lines ahead of me, Lord, I hope I make it back home. Places I've been have all been bright lights. Just a quick stop, only for the night. Full of whiskey, smoke, and wine. I'm backsliding down these lines, and those steel wheels keep rolling, carrying me places unknown. Miles of lines ahead of me. Lord, I hope I make it back home. Can't see the tracks ahead of me. The fog is so thick I need a machete. But I've been on these lines since I don't know when, and I'm sliding into oblivion. Yeah, those steel wheels keep rolling, carrying me places unknown. Miles of lines ahead of me. Lord, I hope I make it back home. Yeah, those steel wheels keep rolling, carrying me places unknown. Miles of lines behind me. Lord, I hope I make it back home. Lord, I hope I make it back home. Lord, I hope I make it back home. Lord, I hope I make it back home.
Thank you. Well, this next song we're working on recording. We're recording with a friend of ours named Chuck Melchin, who's actually on tour right now as well. He's going to meet us in Cincinnati and do a show with us at the Plain Folk Cafe in Cincinnati. So we're working on this one, but I wrote this song a long, long time ago. I've actually been married 3 times. And this was written when my first marriage was falling apart. And it's called Drive, and kind of speaking about like when you're driving sometimes and you just feel like if you could just keep driving and keep driving, everything will be okay.
I got all these buttons to push. Hold on. What am I doing? There we go. Woohoo.
How's it sounding? Sounds like a song. If I could drive away from here into that point where the highway disappears, well, I could drive away my sorrow and outrun my fears. If I could drive away from here, well, I'm too sad to cry, and I'm too tired to even wonder why things go wrong, why we fight. I only want to drive all night. If I could drive away from here into the point where the highway disappears, well, I could drive away my sorrow and outrun my fears. If I could drive away from here, and I'm too sad to say, to cry. I'm too tired to even wonder why things go wrong, why we fight. I only want to drive all night. If I could drive away from here into that point where the highway disappears, I could drive away my sorrow and outrun my fears. If I could drive away from here. Well, it's all right now, I try to tell myself. Into every life must fall some rain, and there is darkness now, but I know somehow that I will live to see the light again. But if I could drive away from here into that point where the highway disappears, well, I could drive away my sorrow and outrun my fears. If I could drive away from here. If I could drive away from here. Well, this next one is our COVID song, because I mentioned that we like touring, you know, and it was a sad state of affairs for a couple years there when you couldn't tour anywhere. There was no place to play, and we still like to go around though, and do the traveling that we could. So we did, and we just mostly just sang to each other around the campfire. And this is a song that we wrote during one of those times when it felt like the whole world was going to hell in a handbasket. And the song is called Basket in Hand. I'm sitting by the fire, fresh from the frying pan. The whole damn world is going to hell. I got my basket in my hand. I got my basket in my hand. Well, everywhere I roam, everybody say they don't know what's going on in this old world today. Oh, this old world today. Well, I don't know so much. I got so much on my brain. All I know is what we got right here helps keep me sane. Got so much more to do, so much more to say. Just close your eyes and hold me close, it's all gonna be okay. Lightning in the sky, a storm is coming soon. You hear that thunder rolling down, it sounds like the same old tune. Yes, it's always the same old tune. And the summer heat so bad, winter wind so cold. The more things change, the more they don't, and I'm I'm just growing old. Hey, I'm just growing old. Well, I don't know so much. I got so much on my brain. All I know is what we got right here helps keep me sane. Got so much more to do, so much more to say. Just close your eyes and hold me close. It's all gonna be okay. Hey, hey. We got open road ahead. We got troubling times behind. We gotta take a gas, let's make it last and roll on down the line. Hey, let's roll on down the line. 'Cause we got so much more to do, so much more to say. Just close your eyes and hold me close. It's all gonna be okay. Close your eyes and hold me close. It's all gonna be okay. Sitting by the fire, fresh from the frying pan. The whole damn world is going to hell. I got my basket in my hand. I got my basket in my hand. I got my basket in my hand. I got my basket in my hand.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our guests this evening on Red Barn Radio are the duo Rockwood Taylor. It's Lynne Taylor and Rockwood Taylor, or Charlie Rockwood rather, who are playing for you tonight. They're visiting here from Newburyport, which is where they live now, but they also have some family roots here. Lynne is rooted in Ohio, and Charlie, I actually don't know where your roots are. Where are they?
My roots are in New England, Massachusetts,
Okay.
New Hampshire.
He's a Yankee.
Yeah.
I'm a Yankee. I got family in Tennessee. My mom lives in Florida now. When we're on tour, we just we'll go and visit them. My cousins down in Tennessee specifically. They're a lot of fun to hang out with and stuff. So.
But ultimately, you just look forward to getting back home to watch the Red Sox and the Patriots play, or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we could
okay.
stay on the road all the time, we would absolutely do that.
Ah, nice.
Yes.
Well, good. That's a lot more fun than watching the Red Sox, that's for sure.
We can watch them on our phones, you know.
I like New England sports. I'm a fan.
Okay, you have to say that for your fan base out
You
there.
know, I'm a fan. I watch. I pay attention. So you know.
So, Lynne, you were raised in Ohio. You mentioned it earlier in Kenton. You know, this is a town that came into the national and then the international spotlight in
May
early
4th?
May of
1970. Yep.
And that was a time when four unarmed students were killed. At least 9 others wounded.
8 wounded, I believe.
8
Yep.
wounded.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
By Ohio National Guard. I wonder if you might start on that upbeat note to tell us a little bit about, how growing up in a town like Kent impacted you, and then maybe eventually your work as an artist.
Yeah. Well, it absolutely influenced me.
How old were you then? Sorry.
I was 8.
Okay.
So you can do the
Right.
math.
Yep. Got it.
And I remember I was going to the university school, which was an alternative school run by the university. And my dad was going to school there. And
He was in college.
Yes.
At Kent State.
He was. Yep. And my parents, my dad is African American, and my mom is white. And so all throughout the 60s, they were involved in civil rights activism and, you know, speaking out against the war in Vietnam as well. And so I had kind of a bohemian, they were hippies, you know, upbringing. And when May 4th happened, I was at school. I recall tanks in the playground. We weren't allowed to have recess. I was so sad. But it was freaky having tanks in the playground. And helicopters flying overhead at night, shining there, because there was a curfew after the incident happened. The city was locked down in basically a police state. And so anyone leaving the city and anyone coming back was stopped. And we were on one time on our way up to Cleveland to visit my grandmother, and we had to get out of the car. They searched the car, you know, had us get back in. And
were your parents part of the protests?
They were not. No, they were not. So they weren't there, thank God.
Yeah.
But you know, being biracial, being in Kent during that pivotal moment, and having parents who, they were actually also folk singers. My dad was a folk singer in the late 50s and early 60s, and my mom was a folk singer during that same time. Really, part of the whole social justice folk movement that was happening during that time, my mom especially, and she went on to become a poet. My dad went on to be a biomedical engineer. And but all these things informed me as a person, but also absolutely as an artist, you know, so that I tend to write things that, you know, I try to speak for those who don't have a voice, or bring understanding to difficult, challenging situations.
Is that how you see the majority of the writing that you do as sort of a vehicle for social change? And
I do, yeah. I do, absolutely. Charlie, maybe not so much. He comes to things from a rock and roll. I come from more of a folk background, and he comes from more of a rock and roll background.
I mean, I'm not intentional about it, but it seems that it could be that way, as far as like, and I like songs that are, you know, human condition, struggle. Stuff I write tends to be a little bit more introspective, but I also write story songs about like other people's stories, or, you know, sometimes they tend
fictional
to be
characters?
Characters going through, you know, whatever they're going through in life. And, you know, sometimes it is just introspective, sometimes it is a social thing. But yeah, I don't think for me it's intentional. It's just whatever I'm feeling, a feeling of whatever the music tells me, or yeah, so I don't know. I gravitate towards the darker stuff in songs anyway. Stuff that's
And I
harder.
do as well. So there you have it. The cheery folk duo of Rockwood Taylor.
We don't do a lot of sunshiny songs.
But I try to, you know.
We can handle it.
I think that, you know, again, I mean, Woody Guthrie said it's a folk singer's job to disturb the comfortable and comfort the disturbed. And that is, you know, that is what been my motto, you know. You know, so any song that helps someone feel less alone, and like I said, that brings light to challenging situations. And, you know, one of the things about touring that's so wonderful is meeting people from all different places, all different walks of life, and connecting with them, you know. And that's what we love. That's what we love to do. And so we're so grateful to have this opportunity to get our songs out there to a wider audience, you know. So we really thank you for that.
Well, the Disturbed and
Whoa.
everybody okay?
I know, you're all right up there, Ed?
All right, good. The Disturbed and voiceless in Appalachia, you know, are people who, you know, sort of come out of fallen economies with the demise of coal,
Yep.
who come from communities that were impacted in so many ways by that industry.
Yeah.
And then, you know, in more recent years, it's been, and this, I suppose we share with you all, we have in common with you, is in more recent years, it's been about people who suffer from opioid addiction. And this is something that impacted rural communities across the country.
Absolutely.
I wonder if you would liken the plight of people who do their work in fishing towns to and mill towns in Massachusetts, for instance, to those in rural Appalachia where coal once reigned.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the fishing industry has been affected for sure in recent years. You know, the mill industry went by the wayside long ago.
Yeah, so many of the New England mill towns, you know, are now little places with cool little boutiques in them.
Yeah.
And,
A lot of
and,
New England is
places
like that,
and
yeah.
places to buy cool wine and books and stuff like that.
But hard times are everywhere, you know, and that's absolutely something that we, you know, see in our travels is, you know, it's not to a specific geographical area, you know. There are people struggling everywhere. And, you know, as you mentioned here, it's a lot of the depressed towns, you know, as a result of the collapse of the coal industry. But, you know, there are people that are suffering everywhere, and people that are rising to the challenge everywhere, you know. And so we just love seeing that and, like I said, connecting with people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about Newburyport, the town that you all decided to sort of make your home base. Do you call that home now?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Talk about Newburyport for listeners who may have never even been anywhere near there.
Newburyport
Yeah.
is a
An ever-changing town.
it was a seafaring town. It's known as the Clipper City. They built clipper ships, which were the fastest sailing vessels in the world for a brief period of time until the steam engine came along. And they were the clipper capital of the world. And they had mills and that type of industry, and they became very depressed for a while. And then right around the late 70s, I ended up there in the early 80s. So they were one of the earliest New England towns to do urban renewal. And so they, instead of just raising all the old buildings and putting in strip malls, you know, they tried to preserve the buildings and the history as much as they could, but at the same time bring in new commerce. So now it's basically a tourist town. It's like a tourist destination, and it's really expensive to live there. We are so blessed that we have found this half of a house that we share with like there's 5 of us musicians, and we just all, you know, flop there, and we can afford it that way. And our landlord is a musician as well, and he took pity on us because we were musicians, so he's letting us stay there. But at some point, we expect to be priced out of there.
We get this thing.
I suppose.
Unfortunately. But it is a beautiful, beautiful town, and anyone, if you're looking for a wonderful place to go in the summertime, Plum Island is right there. There's a beautiful beach, all kinds of shops and restaurants. And there's actually quite an awesome little music scene, I have to say.
I was just going to ask you about that.
Yes.
We have a place, well, when we tour, we like to play breweries, and of course, it's a brewery in our hometown that we play a lot at, and it's probably the one place really. I mean, there's a
Since
couple places in
COVID,
town,
it's the main
but,
place where you can see music
the
now.
main place where you can see music, and
Newburyport
like,
Brewing
we
Company.
have such a great musical community around the area, from Amesbury, the next town over, which is a mill town, and or was, I should say, yeah, it's a pretty wild. That's how I ended up there, was because of musicians from the area. I ended up playing drums in a band that Lynn was in when she was playing bass, and then so there was a whole group of those people, and then like in order to be closer to that, and getting a divorce and losing my house in New Hampshire helped. So yeah, I kind of ended up there. But yeah, guy Chuck Melchin lives in the area. He's going to be playing a show with us in a couple of days, which is kind of funny because he's out on tour as well, and he comes back. There's Ryan Fitzsimmons, who's another amazing artist who does a lot of stuff in Boston and around in the area. Liz Freeman, the Kickers.
That's where we met. In that band.
Do you feel the influence of Kentucky music where you live?
Certainly, certainly Appalachian music and bluegrass and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Is
So
very
I
much
didn't
prevalent.
finish the story
Sorry.
of my parents. Oh yeah, no.
Oh no.
So my parents ended up getting divorced, but my dad had me. He would still play guitar, and I would come back home and I would have gigs, and he was like, well, why don't you, maybe I could open up for you. And I said, okay, yeah. And so, he'd open up, and he'd like, well, maybe your brother can sit in with me while we both open up for you. And I was like, sure, let's do that. And then he was like, we should just play all together and have a band. I was like, well, yeah, we can do that.
All right.
So we ended up having a bluegrass family band, old timey. It wasn't straight up bluegrass, but like old timey. A lot of traditional songs. I mean, I grew up, although I'm from Northeast Ohio, I grew up on a lot of folk of all different types, including bluegrass and lots of old timey stuff. So I feel like that. I mean, I'll be curious to know. It's always a challenge to describe what style of music are you, what genre are you, and that's why a lot of times I say, well, it's kind of genre fluid, because it honestly is. We have so many influences that I feel come out through the music, but I do think that sort of the folky, old-timey thing comes out sometimes, at least.
Well, it would make sense. I
Yeah.
mean, you live up in Ohio. So many people, ended up from so many Kentuckians, folks from Appalachia, ended up
Absolutely, yeah.
going to Ohio in search of a better life.
Yes. And then they get there and they
And work.
and
right.
then the factories close down. So they're that. Yeah.
Hey, folks, I am talking here with Lynne Taylor and Charlie Rockwood. They are together, Rockwood Taylor. And we've got a lot more music and conversation to go. Let's get back to music with Rockwood Taylor.
Thank you.
This song is one of those story songs, and it's called Headed Home. And yeah.
I have a life well lived. That's the way I like to think of it.
Sitting on the back porch, guitar in crooked hand. The sun's going down, slowly casting shadows on the land. It's been a good life, and now I'm headed home.
Once I was a warrior. Once I was a queen. Once I was a pauper, and everything in between. It's been a good life, and now I'm headed home.
When when I was a young man, just about 22. I drank a lot of whiskey and put some miles on my shoes.
When I was a young girl, just about 22, I thought that I knew everything, but I didn't have a clue. A child arrived on a Sunday when we were 34. Just a few years later, we had a couple more. It's been a good life, and now I'm headed home.
I built my house at 41.
I lost it at 52. Paid down the doctor bills, and that's when I lost you. Once I was a daughter,
every year since you've been gone.
once I was a
I
wife,
got my dog and
once I
this
had a
guitar,
family.
so I am not
I had
alone.
to say goodbye. And now I'm headed home.
The final road before me, lacing up my walking shoes. The sun is nearly gone now, and I'm headed home to you.
It's been a
Good
good
life, and now I'm headed home.
It's been a
Good
good
life, and now
I'm headed home. It's been a good life. Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
We need the electric. So this next song is called The Crooked River Blues. And again, the Cuyahoga River, from the town that I grew up in, was known, Cuyahoga means crooked river, I believe. And I did not write these lyrics. I like to call him my step half uncle, who is a poet, R.C. Wilson, pretty well-known poet in the Kent area. He's done a lot for the art scene up there. And he posted these lyrics on Facebook, and I saw them, and I said, would you mind if I took those lyrics and made them into a blues song? And he said, by all means, please do. So here is the Crooked River Blues. The good Lord is not willing, and the creek has begun to rise. I said the good Lord is not willing, and the creek has begun to rise. Well, just step out into the light now, baby. No more secrets, no more lies. The water moves on, but the river remains the same. Oh yes, the water moves on, but the river remains the same. And people flow right through your life. You never even know their true names. Oh, the good Lord is not willing, and the creek has begun to rise. Yeah, the good Lord is not willing, and the creek has begun to rise. Oh, just step out into the light now. No more secrets, no more lies. You know, the bushes started talking to me. I think they must be filled with birds. Yeah, the bushes started talking to me. I think they must be filled with birds. Because when you started walking, ain't nobody say a word. Hey. A pickup truck. Yes, if the river it were whiskey, and I was a pickup truck. You know, I'd drive right to the bottom, and Lord, I'd never come. Thank you. That's the Crooked River Blues. I got to get my stomping stuff on. I wrote this song a long time ago, and it seems like it's particularly pertinent with a lot of things that's going on today with gun violence. And, you know, hurt people, as they say. And I think sometimes, you know, in this culture, we have so much. Sometimes we talked about people that don't have enough. At the other end of that spectrum, sometimes we have people who have so much, but not enough of what really matters. So the song is called Plenty. There was a man, he had lots of money, a wife and kids, but he still was lonely. Plenty to eat, but he still was hungry. Always drinking, but he still was thirsty. He had a big job, he was plenty busy, down with the road rage in the high-rise city. For his neighbor, he would show no pity.
Hit the ground and you can't stop running. Hit the ground and you can't stop. Hit the ground and you can't stop running. Hit the ground and you can't stop.
Had a wife and she was plenty pretty. She got no life but she always busy. She always smiling but she never happy. No one knows it but you think she cracking. Tries to tell him but he doesn't listen. He tries to listen but he can't hear nothing except the sound of his own heart thumping. And it sounds like a ha, 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 ha.
Hit the ground and you can't stop running. Hit the ground and you can't stop. Hit the ground and you can't stop running. Hit the ground and you can't stop. Hey!
Had a daughter, she was way too skinny. She tries to eat, but she feels so ugly. A great big hole where there should be a family. A great big house where she can keep her lonely. He had a son, the son was always angry. He blew things up when he was feeling badly. He got a gun one day and killed his family. And it sounds like
Hit the ground and you can't stop running. Hit the ground and you can't stop. Hit the ground and you can't stop running. Hit the ground and you can't stop. Hit the ground and you can't stop running. Hit the ground and you can't stop. Hit the ground and you can't stop running. Hit the ground and you can't stop.
thank you.
Well, we've got lots more music and conversation with Rockwood Taylor. But I'd like to take a minute to remind listeners that Red Barn live streams, both tonight's and on any Wednesday, remain available online for you and your family, of course, to view at your convenience. Our live video stream is available on the weku.org website, as is our audio stream, compliments of wgad.net in Central New York. Don't miss a single episode of this program. Be sure to tell your friends, too, what it is that you like about Red Barn Radio. American songwriter, wide open country, praised Michelle Billingsley's storytelling chops, and easing country music people call Michelle an important new voice in country music. She is our guest next week. You're going to really enjoy her. She's becoming a torchbearer for classic country and western and honky-tonk that strikes a cool balance between vintage and modern. So if you didn't know what you were up to next Wednesday night, now you do. You're going to come and join us for the Red Barn Radio live stream with Michelle Billingsley and her great band. They're from Chicago. Red Barn Radio, listen to the live. Let's get back to tonight's Red Barn Radio program. We welcome you live on our social media platforms, broadcasting from the great city of Lexington, Kentucky. Welcome back, Rockwood Taylor.
Thank you. Thank you. This is a traditional.
Waiting on me, I guess. Helps if you turn everything on. There we go. All right. Getting old. Well met my one true love. Well met, cried she, for I just returned from the salt sea. It's all for the love of thee. Well, I could have married a king's daughter there, so she'd have married me, but I have forsaken a crown of gold, and it's all for the love of thee.
If you could have married a king's daughter there, I'm sure you are to blame. For I am married to the house carpenter. I'm sure he's a fine young man.
Forsake your house, carpenter, and run away with me. Yeah, I'll take you where the grass grows green on the shores of sunny Italy. She picked her babies 3 and gave them kisses 1, 2, 3, saying,
take good care of your daddy while I'm gone and keep him in good company.
Well, they had been sailing about 2 weeks, yeah, sure it was not 3 when she came up upon the deck, weeping most miserably. Well, are you weeping for your house carpenter, whose face you'll never see?
No, I'm not weeping for my house carpenter, but I'm weeping for my babies 3. What are those hills over yonder, my love? They look as white as snow.
Well, those are the hills of heaven, my love, that you and I will never know.
What are those hills over yonder, my love? They look as black as night.
Well, those are the hills of hellfire, my love, where you and I will unite. Well, twice around went the galleon ship, yeah, sure it was not 3 when the ship all of a sudden it sprung a leak and sank to the bottom of the sea. Yeah, the ship all of a sudden it sprung a leak and sank to the bottom of the sea.
Yeah, house carpenter. That one comes from the British Isles originally, and as a lot of the Appalachian music you were mentioning earlier does come from. And we are indebted to have that music to pull from and influence us. And we are certainly a nation of immigrants. And this next song I want to send out to my friend Lisa Plumley, because this is actually a true story about her great-great-grandmother who came over from Ireland and ended up in the Boston area. And every once in a while she would get homesick and sail back to Abbeyfield, Ireland. And the song is called Back to Abbeyfield.
Piano. Just checking.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, I've been known by Catherine, I've been known by Kate, I've been known by many a name. Some say I'm a devil, some say I'm a saint, some say I'm plumb insane. I know my mind and I know my face is gonna get me what I need. I'm gonna take my baby and leave this place back to Abbeyfield so green. 'Cause I miss my mind, I miss my dog, I feel so all alone. Sailing back to Abbeyfield with a hunger for my home. I was but a lass when I landed in this country so brand new. It was Mom, Dad was sent me here, for what else could they do? With a kiss and a wish for a better life than they could ever give. Into the blue unknown they sent me, hoping I might live. And now I miss my ma and I miss my da, I feel so all alone. Sailing back to Abbeyfield with a hunger for my home. Ended up in Boston, where I toil from dawn till night. And the Irishman I married really isn't all that bright. The children drive me crazy, all they do is fuss and fight. So I'm sailing back to Abbeyfield, whether wrong or right. 'Cause I miss my ma and I miss my da, I feel so all alone. Sailing back to Abbeyfield with a hunger for my home. Well, I sold the table and I sold the chairs and I sold the cradle too. And they all came home to an empty house. What else could a young girl do? I came here but a starving lass, and it's a fate they never will know. 'Cause there is no hunger stronger than the one that calls you home. Because I miss my ma and I miss my da, I feel so all alone. Sailing back to Abbeyfield with a hunger for my home. Yes, I miss my ma and I miss my da, I feel so all alone. Sailing back to Abbeyfield with a hunger for my home. 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 Thank you. That is Back to Abbeyfield. And, well, this next one, let's see. A few years ago, while out on tour, I managed to talk my bandmates into taking a tour of Antietam battlefield. I'm a bit of a Civil War buff, and I don't know if any of you have ever been to Antietam or Gettysburg or any of those places. You can really feel the energy just coming right up out of the ground. You can really picture what happened there. And so the horror of what happened there, and the horror that continues to haunt us to this day. Because it seems as though we still have not figured a way to be one country and have liberty and justice for all people in our country. And it is my hope that, and I'm an optimist. I believe that we will get there. But this song goes out to the boys that lost their lives in the Civil War, and all of the boys who have lost their lives in all the wars since then, and all the people who have lost their lives recently as a result of this country not being able to come to terms with its challenges. So this song is called "The Ghost of Antietam." 1, 2, 3, 4. Walking down the sunken road, I saw the bodies of the dead, lined up with so many planks of wood, head to toe and toe to head. They buried the blue coats where they fell. They let the rebels rot. Bleaching bones in summer sun, gone but not forgot, not forgot. Through cornfields dense with smoke and fear, I heard the rebel yell. I saw Yanks and Southern boys alike in heaps together where they fell. Are we not one country, not yet one human race? Must we continue to dishonor the spirit of this place? And the ghosts of Antietam will rise, and their blood fill the sun-setting skies. The ghosts of Antietam, we disgrace and cheat them each time that we swallow the lies. The ghosts of Antietam still cry for us. His hand reached up as I walked by. His eyes were full of pain. He was not thinking of the cause, but of regret and shame. Leaving loved ones all alone, he gave his life away for a cause yet to be realized. Even to this very day, the ghosts of Antietam will rise, and their blood fill the sun-setting skies. The ghosts of Antietam, we disgrace and cheat them each time that we swallow the lies. The ghosts of Antietam still cry for us. The sun sets on Antietam. It's another day come and gone, and the creek is still washing away the blood that sunk into the stone. And yet the flowers bloom, nourished by the flesh and bone of all our boys together now, finally as one. And the ghosts of Antietam will rise, and their blood fills the sun-setting skies. The ghosts of Antietam, we disgrace and cheat them each time that we swallow the lies. The ghosts of Antietam still cry. Thank you.
We're here this evening on Red Barn Radio with Lynne Taylor and Charlie Rockwood. I think I've been having trouble saying that all night for some reason.
That's okay.
Charlie Rockwood.
Walkwood.
Yeah. So Charlie Rockwood and Lynne Taylor, we've been having such a fun time talking and listening to good songs that sort of speak truth to power, and that's great. We don't hear a lot of that anymore.
You know, I agree. I feel like it's coming around more. I was mentioning my upbringing and how it influenced my songwriting and performing. And, I started performing in the 80s and doing some, same type of stuff. And let me tell you, in the 80s, nobody wanted to hear it. I was just singing to a wall for many years, really. And I feel like currently there are people who are out there speaking truth to power through music. I feel like it's becoming more prevalent, and I'm happy to see that. And I'm finding that for myself that people are appreciating today the things that I offer, whereas different decades, different times, have different preferences, as far as for music. And so I'm feeling like I'm hitting my stride.
Yeah.
I'm 60 and I'm hitting my stride. And so I'm just so grateful to be able to keep doing what I'm doing and sing the songs, and that people are out there listening. So thank you again for having us, because this means so much, really.
All right. Well, it's nice you say you're an optimist, and I feel that for sure.
That's good.
Yeah. But yet, optimism isn't what I would call sort of the spirit of America right now. Do you feel at times that you are in a place playing your music where people are not necessarily receptive to it? Have you experienced that?
I'm pretty good at reading a crowd. And so
So do you change your whole set list when you?
not the whole
get a
set list,
different
no, but there might be a song or two that we wouldn't play.
Yeah.
But for a variety of reasons,
Sure.
But I feel like overall, like, again, the touring and the going to different places, and yes, I'm from New England, and yes, I'm playing down here in the South, but we have way more in common than we ever would have not in common. And that's what I think Charlie and I both try to put forth, to people.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's, I think, the feeling that we have listening to you, and
That's awesome.
and hearing you talk about your songs. And okay. So aside from the ideological roots of your music, could you guys talk some about your musical roots? I'd love to hear you talk at least some about that. You want to start us off, Charlie? Can you talk about some of variety of influences that you cite?
Well, my earliest influence as a kid was my aunt. And that's the New Englander in me coming out, apparently. She's not an aunt, she's an aunt. My dad used to say, ant, that's like a six-legged creature that crawls on your floor with sugar. But anyway, so she played drums. She was actually in a rock band in the early 60s. And they were going to go make a record or something, and my grandmother wouldn't let her do it. She was going to go to New York. Yeah, it could have been a little sketchy, four young women going to New York City in their teens, like, maybe not. But anyway, she taught me some stuff when I was really, really young, and I ended up getting a drum set when I was 5 years old. So.
Oh, Charlie, that's a great story.
Yeah, and so, and then from there, I just love music. And my grandparents played, my grandmother played organ in her later years, but my grandfather played piano, so there was a piano in my grandparents' house. And I used to go over there, and my mom always says that I never banged on the piano as a little baby. I made music out of it. And yeah, I don't know. I musically, I'm kind of a rock guy, but I also like the roots stuff. So I'm a big Jack White fan, and it's that stuff really, gets me going. And being a drummer, and I played in the 80s and 90s, so I was doing the grunge kind of style stuff for years, really. And I didn't pick up guitar until really pick up guitar until my 30s. And
Huh.
I'm in my 50s now, so yeah, I wrote my first song when I was 40, 30 something. 30, I don't know. I can't remember. But anyway, yeah, it just runs the gamut for me as far as musical influences. You know, sister had Who records, and I loved that stuff. Led Zeppelin and all that stuff was just. I hear music sometimes. Here's a weird thing, and this is a weird thing. This is Dixie Chick song that is. It's this really upbeat song that you know, it's about her, like, you know, not wanting to, you know, the church just what is it, save me, praise me, couldn't save me, something. Anyway, I hear that song, and there's something about the way it's recorded, and there's something about the way that the music sounds. It actually makes me cry, and it's not a sad song, but it's like a good, joyous, like, it just makes me feel good. So music in and of itself, like, without even some of the content of what the lyrics say, to me, like, moves me. And when I get that feeling, just, you know, you got we got goosebumps the other day, just playing live. Just one thing, you know, like, happened, and I always chase that in music, like, where it surrounds you, and you're in it, and you're a part of it, but you're not it. It's sort of like
it moves through you.
Yeah, it's like a spiritual thing in a sense. And I think just, so for me, the influence of music, no matter what it is, if it's good, if it really, you know, has a thing going on, you can feel it, and I love it.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
And Lynn, when so your family influences, you know, were great. When I hear your voice and the way you deliver, I hear more Joni Mitchell than I hear Chrissie Hynde, for instance, your fellow Ohioan.
Oh yeah. Well, that's a compliment. I would be honored to be compared to either one of them. They're both heroes of mine. But yeah, my influences, like you said, the early folk for sure, the early bluegrass for sure. But then, yes, I went into the classic rock, and I went into the punk rock, which, you know, really is just loud folk music played fast. That's what punk rock is. We actually still have a punk rock band with our friend Mark Toulon, who lives in Asheville, and we're going to do one of his songs in a little bit. But, yeah, I've had the influences have truly been, you know, so many. Stevie Nicks, I guess I would say, was a really early influence, Fleetwood Mac. And then sort of like some of the new wave stuff in the 80s, some of the underground new wave stuff.
Yeah, what about the folk singers from Texas, I'm thinking of,
oh my God,
like
Steve Earle is...
Michelle Schacht.
Yeah, I've been compared to Michelle Schacht, actually.
Cool.
But I don't actually know her music very well, but the male singer-songwriters from Texas I love. Steve Earle and Townes Van Zandt, and, you know, not from Texas, but John Prine, you know. So honestly, yeah, for me, it's just like I do gravitate more towards lyrics that move me, and then the music supporting the lyrics.
Yeah.
You know, so we do come at things a little bit differently, but I think that's, you know, what helps it work so well.
Yeah.
You know.
Is there a story about you and Charlie meeting? Is that a romantic story that could?
It's a really interesting story.
Oh, all right.
We were on tour. You know, we met, as he mentioned earlier, that
we were introduced by my ex-wife while I was still married.
yes.
But that's how we ended up in the same band together and on tour.
Yep. So we were friends for years upon years. We were very good friends. We were in the same band. He was married. I was married. Who got divorced first? You got divorced first. Then I got divorced. Then we had our other dalliances, and then we were still, really good friends. And over time, it's just evolved into what it is, which I think we're both really, really grateful for because, again, all good things come to those who wait. And,
indeed.
I'm a seeker, and I've always been a seeker. And, if something isn't working for me anymore, I'm not going to hang around. So I've been
try to keep it working.
Yeah, good.
It's like my rock here. So I gotta try. Yeah, let's go. Come on, everything's working really good.
Yeah.
We do. We work really well together.
We do.
Well, it seems so, and so we're really grateful that that you guys were able to make this stop on your travels, and I'm glad we had a chance to introduce you to a new audience out there. We enjoyed meeting you for sure. First thing these guys said when I got here is, "Man, those guys are amazing. They're so nice."
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
we appreciate all of you putting all this together. I mean, the audience can't see all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes. Anyway,
all the
but it's a lot
cameramen
of-
now are
it's
flexing
a lot of work
their muscles.
to make. Look at that, the cameras all going up and down,
That's
and
right.
all the stuff going
Yeah.
on. It's pretty amazing, and we really appreciate y'all having us out here. And I said y'all, that's right.
Nice job.
And
Nice job.
yeah,
We may adopt you.
so thank you.
Yeah.
We really do appreciate it.
All right. Well, good. Hey, we're with Rockwood Taylor here on Red Barn Radio. Let's get back to some more music.
All right. Thank you much. This next one is probably our newest song. We are working on recording this one as well. And by the way, you can find all our music on all the streaming platforms. So do look us up, find us on Facebook and Instagram, and like us and all that stuff. And you can sign up for our email list, and that way we can let you know when we are going to be in your town. But this next one, just thinking about, honestly, I wrote this when at the beginning of the war in Ukraine, thinking about how much damage one person can do. And in a unfortunate synchronicity, my daughter was having trouble with a boyfriend of hers, who he's since ended up in jail. But again, thinking about how much damage one person can do, and it's called Collateral Damage. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. The collateral damage of a broken man, left to pick up the pieces any way he can, repeating the patterns burned into his soul, desperate to feed the infinite whole. All the strength he can summon won't keep it from growing. All the laughter and liquor cannot keep it from showing. He's the collateral damage of a broken man. The collateral damage of a broken man, left to pick up the pieces any way he can. One became a cop, one became a priest, and there's junkies, senators, and all the in-betweens. All the king's horses and all the king's men cannot put Humpty Dumpty back together again, 'cause he's the collateral damage of a broken man. The collateral damage of broken men is making the world go round. Rage oozes from their pores and it seeps into the ground. Broken promises, broken lives, the cycle never ends. Mother Earth is gonna wash us clean so we can start again. collateral damage of a broken man might be digging for food from an old trash can, might be sitting on the board of a corporation, might be running from the law, might be running a nation. You never can tell how much damage has been done until it's time to pay the piper and there's nowhere left to run from. The collateral damage of a broken man. Well, you never can tell how much damage has been done till it's time to pay the piper. There's nowhere left to run. All the king's horses and all the king's men cannot put Humpty Dumpty back together again. The collateral damage of broken men is making the world go round. Rage oozing from their pores as it seeps into the ground. Broken promises, broken lives, the cycle never ends. Mother Earth is gonna wash us clean so we can start again. Mother Earth is gonna wash us clean so we can start again. Well, thank you. And we're coming to the end of our time. It's so sad.
Know, it's so sad. Ah, it's all right. I gotta pee. All right, what do I got going on? All right. No one wants to see that. Hold on. I did that, didn't I?
So is this the first song you wrote, Charlie?
Yes. All right. There we go. Now we're in. All right. Do I have signal now? Yeah, this is the first song I ever wrote. I wrote this song. It has nothing to do with why I wrote it, but I wrote it because my wife at the time was doing open mics, and I was like going to see her. She wasn't my wife. She wasn't my wife at the time. She was my interest, and so the only way I could like not be weird and keep going was that if I actually learned how to, like, if I wrote a song and I learned a few songs and I could play, and that's kind of how I started like doing this in front of people, like kind of thing with the guitar, like playing drums. I was always in the back, you know, not the guy up front, and yeah, so like I had to write a song, and I wrote this and this has nothing to do with her, or it was just an introspective song. It's called Tremble.
Good story.
Whoops, hold on. There we go. Now we get a nice clean thing here. I saw a flower in full bloom, sitting alone across the room. Why do I tremble? Oh, why do I tremble? A wicked tongue spat at me without respect or reverie. Do I tremble? Oh, why do I tremble? The day I hear the dead-end news down past the preacher and the pews, will I still tremble? red wine and a song, letting go of all that I did wrong. I don't tremble, no, I don't tremble. The day I hear the dead news down past the preacher and the pews, will I still tremble? The day I hear the dead news down past the preacher and the pews, will I still tremble? I saw a flower in full bloom, sitting alone across the room. Why do I tremble? Oh, why do I tremble?
Guitar sound. I'm not sure that we achieved that. And you, I think you might.
Oh, it is. There we go.
I think you
can't
also
hear it, so coming through the.
You might
nothing with the
tune as well. I
monitor.
think you need
Yeah, I know.
a
Thank
little
you.
tune
I
action.
appreciate
Good.
that,
We can
'cause-
retake that though. Is that good with you, guys?
Can we?
Okay.
I gotta tune this up
Are you
anyway.
asking us?
Yeah.
What do you want to do now at the end? Let's do it now.
I say let's do it now while it's
Yeah.
fresh and. Oh, I gotta tune the right thing. I couldn't
Yeah,
tell that
thank-
that was on. I turned the other shit off, and I'm actually kind of glad because the guitar. I'm like, this guitar is out of tune. What am I doing? The show must go on. Like, no. So thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I was.
No matter what,
Yeah.
just keep playing. That's what they tell you. Oh, I bet that sounds a lot nicer, doesn't it? Maybe I can actually sing it.
All right.
Because I was like, what am I doing?
Well, those of you out there in live stream land, you get Tremble 2.0.
All right, and maybe I can sing it right and change my story a little bit. There actually was part of this song, and then I changed it because we got divorced.
If
So
you're
I
listening,
lied.
if you're listening, Nikki, we love you.
Just telling stories up here. Woo. All right, here we go. This one's called Tremble. I saw a flower in full bloom, sitting alone across the room. Why do I tremble? Oh, why do I tremble? A wicked tongue spat at me without respect or reverie. Why do I tremble? Oh, why do I tremble? The day I hear the dead news down past the preacher and the pews, will I still tremble? Red wine and a song, letting go of everything I did wrong. I don't tremble, no,
tremble. The day I hear the dead-end news down past the preacher and the pews, will I still tremble? The day I hear the dead-end news down past the preacher and the pews, will I still tremble? I saw a flower in full bloom, sitting alone across the room. Why do I tremble? Oh, why do I tremble?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, now as our punk roots come out.
So you mentioned at one point, and actually for many years, I always loved a good punk song, and I always appreciated some of the truth to power that came as a result of punk, and so we have a punk band that we play together a few times a year down in Asheville. It's called Halo and the Harlots. Give a shout out to our friend Mark Tulin, who plays guitar in the punk band, and I play bass, and Charlie plays drums. And this is one of Mark Tulin's songs, and he has a band in Asheville as well called the Trusty Hucksters, and they are amazing.
They are really
If you ever are in Asheville and you want to have a good time, go see the Trusty Hucksters. But this song is called Brave New Stew.
One, two, one, two.
Waiting on a magic carpet to come along and take you away. Waiting on a daydream every single day. Digging through mountains of cold, just searching for that nugget of gold. Waiting on a miracle or a love hero. And
There's a lot of hate going around. There's a lot of people pointing the blame. There's a lot of big shots stirring the pot for political gain. And it's a world, yes it's true, but is it really brave or new? Or is it just another spice in the same old bullshit stew? Hey, hey, hey.
Waiting on a sinking ship, we're hoping just to run it aground. And everybody's beating their chests and waving dollars around. So don't give me that look, just 'cause you read some book in school. And you spent all your money and time, but forgot about the golden rule. And there's a lot of hate going around. There's a lot of people pointing the blame. There's a lot of big shots, they're stirring the pot for political gain. And it's a world, yes it's true, but is it really brave or new? Or is it just another spice in the same old bullshit stew? Hey, hey, hey. maybe even pass the test.
Pass the test?
Maybe something will change, but I wouldn't hold my breath. 'Cause there's a lot of hate going around. There's a lot of people pointing the blame. There's a lot of big shots, they're stirring the pot for political gain. And it's a world, yes it's true, but is it really brave or new? Or is it just another spice in the same old bullspit stew? Yeah, there's a lot of hate going around. There's a lot of people pointing the blame. There's a lot of big shots stirring the pot for political gain. Political gain, and it's a world, yes it's true, but is it really brave or new? Or is it just another spice in the same old bullspit stew?
Well, ain't that just punk rock for you?
There you go. Throw down that guitar, smash it down on the floor. Wow. Well, there are multitudinous folk we want to thank for what happened here tonight and what happens here every Wednesday night. First, Rockwood Taylor, who is our guest on Red Barn Radio. We are also grateful for our volunteers and staff who make our production happen so beautifully each week. We want to thank all of you for listening to our webcast, watching us on social media, and those listening to us on the Red Barn network of stations and media worldwide. Thanks to WEKU, that's Red Barn's premier radio partner, Central and Eastern Kentucky's radio news leader. You can listen online at weku.org. It's your chance to hear more great live music from Red Barn Radio and WEKU, NPR for Central and Eastern Kentucky. Those of you here in the Central Kentucky area, you got to be sure to check out Red Barn TV. It's our weekly program of music, now on ABC 36 WTVQ. Red Barn Radio comes to you from our home, the Arts Place Performance Hall, here in downtown Lexington, Kentucky. Our website has updates and further information on our guests in our program. We're on the web at redbarnradio.com. Now, before we close out, I'd like to get another tune from Rockwood Taylor. All right.
Thank you, Brad, and everybody. This has really been such a pleasure. And this is a song we wrote together. It's called Shades of Blue. Send it out to each and every one of you, every one of you listening. If there was something I could say, if there was something I could do to take that pain away, I would do that thing for you. But life's got a funny way of keeping us honest and true as we walk on day by day through deeper shades of blue. If there were some way I could know just where the answers lie, I would sing them to the waters, I would shout them to the skies, but my tongue has fallen mute, and my eyes no longer cry. We're just walking day by day without really knowing why. One day heavens will rejoice. One day earth be born anew. One day we raise one voice. We'll be strong and proud and true. And I'll know that you are me. And I'll know that I am you. And we're just walking day by day through deeper shades of blue. Thank you so much.
Well, that's all for our show for this week. But you can see and hear Red Barn Radio worldwide as we stream live on the web on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern in North America. You can also listen to archive performances on Patreon, Spotify, and iTunes. Hey, remember this. Every like, comment, share, subscribe, and all the rest of those words helps bring roots music Southern style to your neck of the woods. And finally this, if any of our featured artists, like Rockwood Taylor, are performing in your area, get out and hear them live. They need you now more than ever. From all of us here at Red Barn Radio to all of our friends worldwide, keep working together to be safe and healthy. And until next time, good night from Red Barn Radio.